Okay, here today with Tom, and we're going out to deliver a Siemens washing machine to a customer. And that's all the customer asked, was she just to watertight it up?
Yep.
In Milltown Mob Bay, am I pronouncing?
Bumpy, yeah.
Okay, but take a look at that sort of view. Yeah, I could do repairs in this part of the world. It's nice to be chauffeured for a change, but I'm sat on the same side as I normally am, and that's because it's Ireland and you drive on the right side of the road. And he's got a Welsh gate opener. And these are some of the lanes that you have to go down. I've just spent a good half hour having a chin wag, and Tom's given us some of the great old Hoover manuals, which I'll be showing you on another video, to go into the collection that we're slowly putting together for some type of museum or a place to show great British manufacturing. Anyway, I'll turn the camera off and we'll get filming again when we get close to the house. We've driven 45 minutes out here just to change the door that's broken, and well, it's a long way to come just for a service call.
I've got to go to
You see, the one I was kind of lifting it up to.
oh yeah, it had put, see, the frame had broke. Yeah.
They were moving that picture.
Window, yeah.
Well, another job done. That was 10 minutes to swap a door over. Broken hinge. Lovely little town, but this took us 45 minutes to actually come out here. Now, when you're considering it's 45 minutes here, 45 minutes back, and the fuel and everything at today's prices, well, it's not as easy as you think. So that was the first job of the day. We went, how far did we drive, Tom?
18 miles.
18 miles. Took us about 35 minutes through the lanes to get here. You'd come out to the job before?
Yeah, I've been in that house for the last 35 years or more. Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah, but you came out to look at what the problem was?
No, I got
She told you and gave you the model number, did she?
She sent me a video on through WhatsApp.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I could see exactly what she needed.
Right. So it just basically new door and the hinges had dropped, did they?
It had pulled, see, it had pulled out of the. It had pulled out of the hinge had pulled out of the frame of the door.
Right, okay, so the plastic had given way.
Yeah, given away, yeah.
Yeah.
So it just sat on
Which is quite a common problem.
Yeah.
Most probably her grandchildren were hanging off the door at some point when...
something like that.
Yeah, it's a common thing that happens. So anyway, we're off now. We've got a Siemens washing machine in the back for someone, and they need a second-hand washing machine, so we're off to deliver that. But you have to, although you've got all the driving to do, you can't help but love the scenery that you have to drive round. And Tom's taking me now to a place...
Spanish Pint.
Spanish Pint.
Where
Now,
Spanish Armada came adrift here the time that they attacked the UK.
right, okay. Oh, so some of the Spanish Armada fleet scattered over to this side.
They went around the top of Scotland and came down the west coast of Ireland. And I think a storm blew them in here.
Right.
And apparently, just here, right here, we'll...
Let me just flick the camera around for them. Oh yeah, lovely little cove. And this is how this place got called the Spanish Pint.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very partial to Mau Lager, which is a Spanish one, but it's a little bit early in the day. But it's definitely a cracking location. Now, we're blocking all the cars, so we're not going to stay too long, but I will flick the camera around for you.
That's the golf course.
And 18 hole or 9 hole?
I think it's 18.
18 hole golf?
Yeah.
Something I've noticed, you do like your golf courses over here, that everywhere I go there's 1 or 2 golf courses. Especially over at Talbot and running down the coast there. There's quite a few down there.
A lot of surfing done in here now as well.
Yeah?
A bit of surfing, yeah. Like it's...
I got a few friends. I used to surf a bit when I was younger. I'm too old for it now. Oh, they've got a rental thing down there as well. Yeah, the water's far too cold for me. Anyway, how far have we got on this next one to go?
We've about a 20-minute drive again. Yeah.
Right.
We're going to a place called Dunbeg.
You're tuned into the How to Repair radio show.
So we're off to Dunbeg and it's about a 20-minute drive. So even if you worked a solid 8 hours a day over here, the distance you have to travel between the different call-outs, I would say you could squeeze no more than 7-8 jobs a day in.
Yeah, oh, that'd be, yeah, you'd be pushing it if there was anything major wrong, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, if you've got a refrigeration job to do where maybe changing the compressor,
yeah.
You're down to 2-3 jobs a day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not the easiest game in the world when you have so far to drive. Fixing appliances in large towns and everything, where you've got population, you can easily do 8 to 10 calls a day. But you know, what you've got to remember nowadays is a lot of these service force engineers, and Tom just told me to flick the camera around so you can see the signs. You've got a big festival here for music this week coming, but I'm going to have a little bit of time off the source. Should we say I've participated maybe a pint or two too many. So I'm taking it easy and just going to enjoy getting my hands dirty with a few appliances with Tom over the next few days. And he's already donated a load of the 1980s, 1990s workshop manuals for Hoover, because Tom actually was trained by Hoover. Where was it? In
Castlemaine in Dublin.
Right, just outside of Dublin, and it was Hoover engineers that came over
across, yeah.
From Liverpool, was it?
I think it was Liverpool, yeah.
And when was that? 1960?
That was 1968.
1968. Now, you're not going to believe it. He might look better than me, but he's been on the tools from then. And go on, Tom, spill the beans. How old are you?
I'm 76.
76 and still on the tools. And he does it because he loves it, I think.
Oh yeah, sure.
And he gets out of the wife's, gets away from the wife a little bit. So it's nice for him to get out and about. And it's a beautiful countryside. Anyway, I'll turn the camera on when we get to this delivery. So we're still driving down the lanes to deliver this machine. Just thought I'd turn the camera on because you were working for some companies to start with. When did you actually become self-employed?
1982.
1982, which was really the, I have to call it the golden age of being a service engineer. I mean, you know, the jobs that you would have, cleaning out the pressure bowls on the Hoover A3 series in those days, and the
right.
Logic.
And hope the little plastic neck wouldn't break. And you'd have to drill it out.
You'd also have the, of course, the Hotpoint 18 series, the Hoover A3 series carbon brushes. They were constant work. Oh, what's this? Oh my God. Yes, well, yeah, we need to... Some horrible little geezer, and I don't know his name, but should we say it's all the fuel problems in the world, has got a bloody international golf course here. Yeah. I'm going to leave this subject because, honestly, I have enough manufacturers that want to see me in a box without getting him on the list as well. So, yeah, let's just drive past this one. But no, Trump International Golf Links and Hotel. Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a fuel station here on the, you know, the lot selling American gas.
Yeah, I might have.
But we'll leave that subject, I think. It's a dangerous subject to be gassing about.
No. Yeah, when we get further down the road, you'll be able to see the place he has.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's a long driveway down there, I take it?
Yeah, it goes all around, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it costs there, but it's expensive, I do know, to stay there.
Well, everything he seems to touch is about money, so I wouldn't say it's the cheapest. I can see the manor house there.
Yeah, 400 or 500 a night.
Yeah. It's not worth turning the camera around because I'm not going to be able to zoom that distance. But I'll pop a link up on the screen to it and a map of where we are. But I must admit, the one thing I love about the job that you've got as an engineer over here is the country roads and the scenery that you go through every day. Have you had many, shall we say, accidents delivering machines?
Never, really.
No?
No.
Now, we've got a washing machine in the back, and when I helped Tom load it, and if you can look over my shoulder there, driving on all these country roads, I would have had straps on it. But he's so confident that he knows the roads and the scenery, and we've had to stick the brake on a few times, and even the sack truck on top of the washing machine hasn't moved an inch. So every man to his own trade, as they say, and he knows his vehicle and knows what the washer will withstand going round corners and everything. And there are some very, very tight driving to do on these country lanes, as you've seen me do with the van as well. What's the best story you've got, Tom, in the last 40 years of being self-employed?
Well,
I've got one which I'll explain to you now.
Well, I'll tell you one now, and it was after I doing my first course with Hoover, and like we're talking about the first Keymatic with the slope in front, or was it the next
The one with the plastic card that used to change?
Yeah, because they all had the plastic cards with
Yeah.
No, it was the second series of Keymatic.
Now, if I remember correctly, there was 8 programs on those cards.
There was, and you had a white and a red, or a white and an orange.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm after coming back from this intensive course with Hoover, and you think you're the you know, what would you call it?
A few moments later.
The bee's knees?
Yeah. Well, obviously, any other guy that was kind of handy isn't going to be able to fix these Keymatics anyway. But come back anyway, and maybe a month or two has passed before I get a call. And it was down in the town of Venice. So I get down there anyway, and I tell you now, I'm kind of shaking a bit because look, it's your first go at it. Now I had been doing the twin tubs, and I was doing single tubs. You'd be doing vacuum cleaners. Now I had the smaller stuff anyway. But these new automatics have come anyway, and Muggins is sitting down to fix this thing anyway, and I go in there anyway. The woman, her clothes are stuck inside it, and it's full of water. And of course, there was no knob or no readout or anything in those early ones. You had to open the lid of it, and the big switch inside had 42. It had 42 positions on a cam, and they were all numbered, right? But I got a bit of a brain freeze anyway, and I couldn't remember. See, you'd have a chart, and the number that was stopped on, which should tell you basically what the problem was. That's how it works. But anyway,
this was the basic pin configuration coming out of the timer from the cam that rotated.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Tom's talking about timers, which were in the early days of Hoover. They were Cruzette timers, a lot of them, and they would have 2 like watch motors.
No, this thing was different, Paul.
Oh,
this thing was as big as a loaf of bread.
Oh, crikey!
Yeah.
Right, early.
Yeah. And there was a Perspex, half of it was Perspex, and there was a little magnified window on it as well to show you up the numbers that were on this rotating wheel that was inside. Okay, but anyway, I get down there and I get a brain freeze. But,
I get them at my age, never mind at 70.
So, I could remember how to get the water out of it. Drop the hose down and it should gravity flow. Now after that, I got the door open and I got the woman's clothes out, and is she delighted? Her clothes are inside for 4 to 5 days, right? So, but I still haven't to fix it. I could not think why it stopped. So I said, Mrs. I'm almost certain there's a little part on it. So, okay, anyway, I said, I'll have to order it though. I haven't it with me. So, came back anyway, and every book that I had got, that I had brought from Dublin, say where we were doing the course, right? I went through them like a fine comb, right? And I ordered a pump for it. So the pump came anyway, and back down to this customer, and I decided it must be a pump. Damn it must be a pump, right? So took the back off the machine, took out the pump, and that bloody coin falls out of it.
A coin?
A coin. I thought, damn it, that's what stopped it, right?
Well, in those early machines, and especially with the ladies, bra wires were a common thing to catch.
I don't think they had any wires in the brass that time.
No? Well,
anyway,
bra wires earned me a small fortune over the years.
I bet you they did, yeah. But anyway, I put it back together anyway, and I tested it. Because everything, I let it fill, pulsed it down for a spin try, and water went out, and it's working. So I opened the box that the new part is in, right? Just opened the box, left the new pump inside, and I called the woman. And I said, Mrs. Yeah, I figured it out correctly. I said, that pump, there was a failure in it. There's a wrong pump that was got back in again. And well, she is happy as Larry. And I tell you, the crowd I worked for, they sold a lot of washing machines after that. The word went round. This shop, they can fix what they sell. You know.
No, you used to support local businesses because the local businesses would support the consumer.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with international companies. I mean, even the likes of Miele now don't have. Well, they're subbing out their work, and it's not even their service force that are maintaining the machines anymore.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world today. Now, my funniest story was it was a Welsh International Rugby Day, and it was a Saturday. And basically, a customer had rung us on the Friday and told me a very big sob story that they were going on holiday to Mallorca or somewhere like that, and their Hotpoint 95 series was not washing. And after speaking to him on the phone, I got talked into him bringing the machine into the shop.
Okay.
So him and the wife came in on the Saturday morning, because I said I only had a couple of hours spare before I caught the train up to watch the rugby match at the stadium. So anyway, they brought the machine into the shop, and I was suspecting it was carbon brushes, because on those early Hotpoints, the motor was on the top.
It wasn't top of the machine.
And all you had to do was undo 2 screws at the top, set a hook nose pliers, put a new set in. So I knew it was only going to be a 20-minute job. Well, the husband and wife are there in the shop watching me work, and I undo the 2 screws on the top of the machine, and I take the lid off. Now, as you probably know, Tom, the concrete block was a square one on the top. But alongside the soap drawer side was a brown paper tube. You know those stuff you get in for mail order papers and stuff like that?
Right.
And it was duct-taped onto the machine. So I turned round to the customer and I said, well, this is not meant to be here. Someone's been messing with the machine. And the husband and wife promised me no one had touched that machine since it was delivered from the shop 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
Well, I disagreed with him. I said, well, someone's got to have worked on this. This wouldn't have come from the factory this way.
Yeah.
Well, the guy just turned around and said, oh, so take it off then. So anyway, pulled the one piece of tape off, pulled the other piece of tape off, and as I pulled the tube out, a copy of Penthouse magazine and Fiesta magazine fell on the floor. The bloke's face was a treat, because he knew instantaneous that his 14-year-old son had been using it for his stashing place of his pornography. And the wife's face was worth £1 million, because I never seen a woman turn so red in all my life. Anyway, I rectified, me and the bloke were nearly doing the dying fly on the floor laughing. And the woman was so embarrassed.
That's right.
But when it came to payment for me changing the carbon brushes, she said, how much do I owe you? And I turned around and said, it's free of charge if I can come and install the machine in the house and we get the son in the kitchen to pass him the magazines back. She wouldn't have that, so she paid me for the job.
Lovely.
But a brilliant job. Anyway, we've just arrived at this property, I believe. Yeah. And, well, I'm just going to flick the camera around for you. I'll go and do the gate. What is this exactly? What's down here? A house or?
It's actually a mobile. This guy works in London.
Right.
And it's just a temporary residence he has at the minute.
Oh, he's got a mobile home
He's got
down
a
here.
mobile home down
Okay,
here, yeah.
well, let me do the gate. And let me show everyone. My leg's gone to sleep. What a stunning location. Tom's got an old van from approximately 2002, something like that, and he swears by it because he, like me, hates anything with modern electronics. And you'll have to excuse me holding the camera like this. It's just, I'm trying to do the gate and get everything done. But take a look at that sort of view. Yeah, I could do repairs in this part of the world. It might be a lot less money than having hundreds of jobs, but at least you get to see the scenery. Okay, I've just found out we don't even have to install the machine. The gentleman's away at work and we only need to drop the machine off and leave it under a cover. And let me give Tom a hand. So,
Okay, Bob.
no, you're okay?
Yeah.
Well, good technique. Nice and easy slide. Oh, watch it, you're on the waste pipe. There you go. And that's all the customer asked, was she just to watertight it up?
Yeah.
Just in case it rains. I think we need to put a couple of blocks on that. Okay, that's the second job of the day done. Second-hand washing machine delivered for the customer in a lovely location. As the customer is in work, he just basically said leave it outside the door and cover it up. But he's got plenty of...
Well, actually, Paul, this guy, he's in London, but he's getting one of his neighbours here at home to
put it into the house.
For the place, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually film the property because I don't think it's right for us to put stuff up on YouTube when we don't have permission. Anyway, I have got to go out and do the gate again.
Which is an Irish word for the gate.
What's it say?
Oscar Uncata.
Oscar Uncata.
Uncata.
Uncata. Well, I'm learning local jingle. And he's got a Welsh gate opener. So it's very different for me nowadays because I run the online business with regards supporting our partners in Donegal, up in Derry, across in the UK, multiple partners. But for me now, I sort of get back to my workshop and I'll do 2-3 months solid work creating the video footage on all the repairs and everything.
No! God, please, no! No!
And then I might take a couple of months off, drive down to Portugal to the other film studio and film everything down there for a couple of months. And Burkeye, my editor, once I've cut the film to the way I want it, Burkeye, my editor, then makes it look pretty and gets rid of all my, should we say, mistakes that I make with the wording.
I'm tired, boss.
But these roads are, well, a little bumpy at occasions. Well, I'll show them the beach in a second when we pull the car over. But the next job, we're picking up a tumble dryer that's scraping, you say?
It's making some noises anyway, yeah.
Okay, so that could be the felts and possibly the bearing or the pulley wheel.
It could be the fella in the brass bush in the back, or I don't know what's giving grief in it. So
Right. So jobs like this are easier for you
into the back of the van, do it in my own time at the workshop.
Right, okay. It's very hard filming in here because I haven't got the space that I've got in the camper. Oh, but that's a stunning beach.
Walk down, Paul, if you want to.
Oh, well,
Walk down.
stretch the legs a little. And the great thing is you don't need to lock the van up every 2 minutes. Well, they got portaloos here.
Actually, the weather was good.
Well, it's not bad today. I mean, the other day it was torrential rain. What is this place?
This is part of Dunbeg here. It's called the White Strand.
And those are the two islands. One's the Monk's Island and the other one's the...
No. See, that's to the back of us, where Scantry was, where I showed you last night.
Right. So
that
we
one
came
over.
from all the way over the where those wind turbines are.
We did indeed.
Right. And we had to come all the way...
There's Mr. Trump, if the camera can pick it.
Yeah, no, the camera should be able to pick that up. That's Mr. Trump's golf course.
Yeah.
No comment again on that one. But a very nice part of the world.
And actually, the customer we're going to next owns the farm there, and that's an Airbnb.
Right, so the farm's the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And the tumble dryer, how old is it?
Oh, it's a vintage dryer, which you cannot buy here anymore.
So, as we're picking up this dryer, I want to have a chat to you on what you think. Let me just bring it round so we've got both of us in the picture. Now, this lady's tumble dryer we're picking up is a vented or condenser?
It's a vintage.
It's a vented dryer. What's, I mean, when we were in your house, I did see that you've got a Siemens heat pump dryer. And you got that when?
Must have it probably 10 years.
That long? Do you use it a lot?
Oh, every time I pass by it, it's working.
Right, so the wife's an abuser.
And like the one thing about it is that I don't seem to our ESB bill, that's electricity supply board.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's expensive enough here in Ireland, but we can still afford to pay for it.
Right. So, I mean, 10 years with a heat pump dryer. It's a Siemens. Did you buy it from the showroom, or how did you get it?
I didn't actually.
Right.
I bought it as spare parts.
How do you mean spare parts?
Well, I reckon I believe that the guy from Siemens, whoever they had out it, couldn't fix it, so it was sent back. So I bought
So
it.
this was a new appliance that you managed to get, which was like a graded stock or whatever.
Yeah.
And what was the problem with it?
You know something, Paul? It's 8 or 10 years ago, and but it was something to do with the compressor, and like, and I had experience of refrigeration, so.
So basically, the compressor wasn't starting up.
Like that, yeah.
It could have been a starter relay on the compressor.
You know, Paul, now I'd be telling you a lie if I said something, but
But
Look,
10...
got to the bottom of it anyway. And
You see, I have a big, you've said to me now that in Ireland, basically vented and condenser dryers have already been banned.
yeah, you cannot buy them here anymore unless they're new old stock. Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Removing,
His big brother dictating to you, number one.
Yeah, but I mean, most of these properties are rural.
There, yeah.
And what I don't see a lot of here in Ireland is solar. Is it only just catching on?
It's only catching on, that's all. Now, I could see why they would want to do it. Say, if you think of some place like the Greenville Flats of that, and a dryer takes...
Oh yeah, look, I've got no problem with the technology. Heat pump technology is very good. But the problem being with all these dryers, now you've got a high-end heat pump dryer. And I'm going to explain the research that I did in my previous video. Now I put a condenser Beco dryer against a Beco heat pump dryer to look at how long it dried the same amount of clothing. Now the 7 kilo heat pump dryer took roughly 2.5 hours to dry the clothing. And I know from customers' emails and everything else, these dryers are only lasting between maximum, I have had people with failing machines after 2-3 years, but I'm going to give them the respect that they deserve and say the average is 5 to 7 years, absolute maximum. And this is because the evaporators and condensers clog up with fluff. Now, talking to you over the last day or so, with the dryer that you bought, I know that it's a high-end system and it's got its own cleaning process for the filtration system.
Thumping along there at the end.
But these cheaper machines have only got the old conventional filter systems.
Okay.
And if people aren't maintaining it, the machine becomes a lot less efficient.
Sure.
Now, the measurements in kilowatts being drawn on these machines, and I'll give you the exact numbers that I got, and it's starting to blow a hoolie. The heat pump tumble dryer on a 2.5 hour cycle used just approximately 1 kilowatt of energy. When the machine was running, it was drawing approximately 400 watts of power, which is a lot less than the conventional vented or condenser dryer. Now, as we both know, the heating systems are, 1800 to 2500 watt?
Roughly.
Yeah. So, but the condenser dryer dried the same amount of clothing in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So, remembering that once you've got to temperature on the condenser dryer, the machine is approximately turning the heater on and off to maintain a 60-degree temperature. So I would have said, well, a matter of fact, the exact measurement, I believe, was just under 2 kilowatt of power, but it dried the clothes in a 1 hour, 15 minute time.
As against.
When you consider machines are running for 2.5 hours on these heat pump technology, that's a lot more wear and tear on the components, like the motor, the bearings and everything else.
Rollers that the drum on, yeah.
Then you've got the actual wear and tear on the clothing that you're putting in. Yes, it dries it in a softer way, but it's still tumbling those clothes for 2.5 hours. And a lot of people have complained, especially with the lower end market, like the Beco, the Hotpoints, the Indisets, the heat pump technology, that these machines are failing in less than 5 years. And the energy saving that we get doesn't really, I mean, this dryer, this vented dryer that we're picking up, how old, do you know the age of this vented dryer?
Oh, it's probably 8 or 9 or 10 years maybe, yeah. 10
years old.
I've looked at it before, but I've forgotten.
Yeah, and we're going to pick it up and take it to the workshop to do, because it's a lot easier to strip it down in your workshop and have a look at the machine.
Compressed air, like to clean it out.
Yeah, and blow everything out. But the worst case scenario, it's going to be a set of new bearings on the drum.
Yeah.
Maybe the rollers on the front need either the bearings changing, because it's usually 2 support wheels on those Hoovers.
That's right.
And also, it may be a jockey wheel that's making the noise.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we could have a dry bearing in the motor. There's many things it could be. But the difference here, and from an engineer's point of view, I'd like your honest opinion. If that lady who's called you out, and we're picking up the dryer in a minute, is able to get this machine repaired for 70, 80 pounds, would that be...
She doesn't want to buy a new one. She said she doesn't want a condenser.
Well, it's not the point yet, but
Yeah.
it's not the point of that. What I'm getting at is the actual cost to the consumer. If cleaning this machine out, you picking the machine up, let's say there's 20, 25 pounds worth of parts trade that has to go into it, you're going to charge what? Somewhere in the region of 70, 80 pound, including the time?
Yeah.
Oh, euros, sorry. I keep forgetting where I am. Now, if it was a heat pump dryer...
Well, I'd be thinking of selling her probably a Bosch.
No, I'm not talking about selling a new machine. I'm talking about the serviceability on the machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I am seeing so many engineers who, and I've defied customers to ring up local engineers and say they've got a problem with their heat pump tumble dryer, and the service engineers don't want to know.
They don't, because they're not trained in refrigeration anywhere for a start.
Well, it's not only trained in refrigeration, they're a bloody nightmare to work on.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to dismantle 90% of the machine just to gain access to the evaporator and the condenser.
Indeed.
And that means the drum's got to come out of the machine, the whole cabinet has got to be disassembled. And
the job wouldn't pay you at that rate.
no, they're not got, if you're talking about having to spend £200 on a repair on a heat pump tumble dryer, general public is just going to go out and buy a new one.
Yep.
And this is where our mountains of environmental waste are coming from. And I'm going to be talking on the same subject as I go round all our suppliers, our partners, and I'll be speaking to them all with regards to the same question, because I think people need to be aware. You see, too much legislation in government is being dictated by people who haven't got a bloody clue, to be honest.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Pin pushers. Pin pushers.
Pen pushers, yeah, you got it in one. Anyway, we've enjoyed the view here and we've had a chin wag. Let's go on up and pick up this other dryer. This is a vented, is it, Tom? Yeah. Just by the noise, jockey wheels definitely.
Yeah.
And also the front wheels, the support wheels.
Paul, I've got to strip it down anyway and give it a good once over and make sure that it's...
Well, the thing is,
ready for
you can tell by the dust on top of the machine straight away how much fluff is going to be inside it.
Getting ready for the winter.
And it looks like it's a long one here. I'm from Wales, so it's just as wet.
I was going to say.
Would you like the sack truck?
Yeah.
A really old, sturdy girl.
Like the Australian experience.
Oh, just have a look in there. Yeah, you would like to have a look?
I can see it from here.
Oh, you're waiting for a lift. I turned the camera on.
So don't push, just shove.
I just wanted to show everyone while there's light in there.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually see, this really does need a good clean out. And taking it to the workshop, you can do a much better job than doing it in a customer's house. And Tom is actually checking the vent tube because
That's the wrong vent.
it's the wrong vent to start with. It's worth taking the screws out and taking the pipe off and cleaning it all the way through.
It has.
And what I'm meaning here is this is the wrong...
For an extractor that's on it.
Yeah, this one is designed for a boiler Not really designed for a tumble dryer. The ones with a tumble dryer have got the tilting flaps.
That thing now, I'm sure any dust that's coming out is clogging it.
Right. Well, that's another one out the way.
Yep.
I'll leave you put the sack truck in while you know how to balance your van. Okay.
Good to go.
Job done. Lovely house with a lovely view. Cracking house. You didn't hear a humming noise when you pressed it? Tom? That's already loose. Yep.
Yeah.
Capacitor. IDC 8T3. I think that'll be a 7 or 8 microfarad. She's quiet anyway.
Yeah, it's quite. Okay, I'll have to alter it. The piece is gone, I will.
Yeah.
I will. Now, what is today? Today is Wednesday. With a bit of luck, I'll have it for you for the weekend.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Alright.
Yeah. What's happening at the top?
Just below, it's a gadget that starts the motor.
Oh, all right. Yeah. All right.
Don't keep trying to go. Keep burning the motor out.
I won't know.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you could smell something, can't you?
Yeah, well that's the heater coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the drum not blowing the air over the
All
heater.
right. Yeah.
You might be able to. One of the clips are broken on that. I always use Sikaflex to hold it.
Yeah, we usually take 7 here on that.
It's in anyway, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just if you put the glue on it, it will hold.
Oh, yeah.
But we can look up online what size that is. I think it's 7 or 8.
7 or 8. I think I use 8s.
Yeah.
Would you believe it? I searched the van, I was thinking it might be that.
Yeah.
And I searched the van, I said, no, but I promise you I can't. So
Yeah.
I decided,
And those are things that kind of.
You've got Krista Bird on the bottom there.
That's
Well,
right. That's what I think.
That's a suitable drop.
That's what I think. Because it's shaking floor is a bit.
okay,
And it goes
okay.
that way, yeah. So it's a bit.
I'll give you a bit before I come in, alright?
Well, we went out at roughly just after 11. We've done 4 hours, would you say?
Yeah.
Managed to squeeze 1 delivery.
It was actually
4 calls we've done.
Yeah, with 4 calls done since 12 o'clock.
Yeah, and that one's the capacitor on the motor.
Yeah, which I'm out of at the minute.
So you're going to have to. How long do they take to deliver to you? Out here?
If I had to call in, it's 4:15 now. If I had to call in, say at about 10 to 4, I'd have them in the morning.
Right.
But,
Is there a minimum requirement?
No.
So they'll deliver.
Send me one if I wanted it.
And what they charge you for the postage?
It's about 6 or 7 euros.
Right.
I normally get them sent. It depends. Sometimes the post isn't as quick as the courier. If there's a real emergency, I get them sent DPD, and that'll be sure next morning.
Yeah, but that'll cost you about
a tenner. Yeah, because ultimately,
well, it's nice to know you're getting parts even in these rural areas.
Oh yeah, that's
at a reasonable pace. I was expecting you to have to order and maybe wait until the latter part of the week or early part of next week before the part even comes here.
Oh no, the lads in Tullamore, they will have it next. I'll have it next day if I have to call in time.
Right.
And like they're super up there because once I'm able to explain it, I'd say, lads, look at it's the same that's in the Whirlpool one or in the
Yeah.
the same. If whatever you have, will do me. And well, that's great. We'll make it.
Well,
up.
I mean, look, all those capacitors. It's
Yeah.
we know on that one, it's the 13 mils bolt that holds it onto the side of the motor. They've never changed their design in them.
No.
Some of the Zanussi ones use the special mountings and this Ducato capacitors. Yeah, they're a little bit more. You can put a universal on them, but the mounting piece for them is that one that's got the slot. In it. Yeah.
Would you believe it? I've one of them there in the box, but
They go on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a lovely day.
There's a brilliant gardens in there.
Lovely gardens,
Oh, there's one there near Swansea. That's even ahead of it.
Right. What, are they botanic gardens or?
Yeah. Oh, the colour! I was in there last Saturday night. They had a concert there.
Right.
For 2 hours. A bit over 2 hours. It was brilliant. Now it was sold out. There was 250 people in a tent.
Right.
And it was just, and the tent was over because that bit cooler, and there was actually good sound out. There was good sound. It had a very good sound system in it.
Now tomorrow, what have we got to do? We have got to run the show now, but tomorrow
We'll
we got a cooker to deliver.
we got a cooker to deliver install, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take you right out to the Loop Head Peninsula, which
The
is
where?
It's called the Loop
Loop
Head.
Head.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is as far as you
Oh, is that where the cliffs are?
We'll come back by the cliffs.
Right. Okay. And they're the alternative cliffs that
So
get
the
less
cliffs of Moher.
tourists than
Cliffs of Moher. Yeah.
Moorhead. How's it pronounced?
Moher.
Moor.
Moher.
Moher.
Yeah, Moher. Yeah.
My typical Irish pronunciation.
Oh, you'll be all right.
I'm lousy.
Yeah, you get the hang of that after a while. You're coming here often enough, and you'll be fluent. I was saying to you there earlier that I've spent a lot of time in Wales and the UK in general, but I used to have terrible pronunciations.
Well,
of
Wales
stuff.
does have some real tongue twisters.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a cracking day. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Good.
And it's nice to be sat in this seat with no steering wheel.